you should be drafting every single quarterback in fantasy football this year. No, I don't mean you should literally spend every single pick of your draft on a quarterback. What I do mean is there are reasons to draft every quarterback in the NFL for your fantasy football team this year. And I'm going to give you at least one reason to take every single one of them. This is Matt Mormann with the ADP, the Average Dudes podcast. And in this little mini series I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks, we're going to go through every position. And at the same time that this one goes live on why you should be drafting every single quarterback, we're going to have a counterpart episode of why you should not be drafting every single quarterback. It's the same exact thing, but from the negative standpoint. So with that, let's jump right in with the number one quarterback off the board in Fantasy Pros ADP, Patrick Mahomes. His worst finish as a starter was QB7 in 2019 when he played 14 games. You guys know all the reasons why you should be drafting Patrick Mahomes. The start of this list is going to be pretty easy. Josh Allen was better than Mahomes in 2 of the last 3 years, and the 1 year he wasn't, he was QB2. Jalen Hurts was QB1 in points per game last year, and his rushing probably even gives him an edge over Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow, look at those weapons. He was QB4 last year. Why would he not be at that same level this year? Lamar Jackson, we've seen the upside. He scored 487 points in one season, which is more than Josh Allen has ever scored. Justin Fields, he got DJ Moore. Josh Allen, when he got Stephon Diggs, went from QB8 to QB1, and Jalen Hurts, when he got A.J. Brown, went from QB9 to QB3. Justin Herbert, he played through injury last season, and look at what he did in 2020 and in 2021 when he was QB9 and QB2. Throw last year out the window. He also is getting the upgraded offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. And if you do want to find out more about Justin Herbert and kind of why Tanner especially is really high on him, go check out our previous episode on that. Trevor Lawrence managed to survive Urban Meyer. Thank goodness. He finished QB 22 as a rookie, but then he finished QB 8 last year with Doug Peterson, and now he adds Calvin Ridley. Deshaun Watson had 3 seasons as QB 5 before the whole fiasco with him. And even in his rookie year, where he tore his ACL after only, I think it was 7 games, he averaged 29 points per game that season. Dak Prescott still has an elite wide receiver with CeeDee Lamb. He's had 4 seasons as a top 10 quarterback. And as much as Dallas keeps on saying they want to run the football, everything they've done this offseason kind of points towards the opposite. They have added wide receivers. They have not added running backs. Everything kind of points to Dallas still throwing the ball quite a bit. Dak Prescott is about as safe as it gets to be a low-end QB1. Tua Tagovailoa, he still has Tyreek Hill and he has Jalen Waddle. And in the games he started and finished healthy last year, weeks 1 through 3, 7 through 10, and 13 through 15, he averaged 21.8 points per game. Aaron Rodgers is back with the same offensive coordinator that brought him 2 MVP seasons just 2 and 3 years ago. And remember, last year he did not have Devontae Adams. Now he gets Garrett Wilson, who had 1,100 yards as a rookie, with Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Mike White throwing at the ball. Kirk Cousins has been top 12 in each of the last 3 seasons, and he was QB6 last year. This team has a real bad defense, and they just released Dalvin Cook, so you'd expect them to throw the ball potentially even more than they did last year. Daniel Jones was QB9 last year while throwing just 15 touchdowns. They add Darren Waller to be a red zone weapon. They also did add Jalen Hyatt in the early 3rd round of the NFL draft. And so there's potential for him to throw even just a few more touchdowns and really bring up that ceiling for him. And look, rushing matters for fantasy football quarterbacks. Geno Smith was QB5 last season. And then they went out and they added Jackson Smith-Njigba to a wide receiver core that's already got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Anthony Richardson. Now, for him, we're going to look at a few comparisons from the past. We're going to look at Lamar, we're going to look at Justin Fields, and we're going to look at Jalen Hurts. Lamar averaged 19.1 points per start with no games under 16.5 points his rookie year. Justin Fields averaged 14.2 points per game as a rookie. And Jalen Hurts only had 3 games where he started the year, and he averaged 29.5 points per game. He had that monster game against Arizona. And he also had no games under 21 points per game. All of this comes together to show that if used correctly and given the opportunity, Anthony Richardson could be dynamite. Jared Goff was QB 10 last year. despite having 17 touchdowns taken away by Jamal Williams. Russell Wilson has Sean Payton now coming in as his head coach. In 2021, Jameis Winston averaged 22.1 points per game before he tore his ACL. Last year, 22.1 points per game would have been good for quarterback 7. Bryce Young now starting at quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold managed to have a 5-game stretch last year at QB 14 for the Carolina Panthers. I got to imagine Bryce Young can have that low-end QB1 value. Kenny Pickett had a really hard time throwing touchdowns as a rookie. And the good news for him is quarterbacks tend to see a real jump in touchdown percentage in year 2. I took the average of all first-round quarterbacks dating back to 2018. Now, I did remove Josh Rosen, I removed Jordan Love, and I removed Trey Lance because they didn't really play as rookies or sophomores, depending on the case there. But among those first-round rookie quarterbacks, they saw an increase of 1.25% in touchdown rate, which would only bring Pickett up to a 3% touchdown rate from last year. So you have to imagine there's some good touchdown positive regression coming for him. A lot of people are also banking on that for one of his top wide receivers with Deontay Johnson. Look, Matthew Stafford still has Cooper Kupp. He still has Sean McVay. He had a 3.3 touchdown percent last year. If he can get that back up to about 4.5 to 5, I think Stafford could really be a low to even mid-range QB1. Derek Carr has the best wide receiving tandem he's ever had in his career. Plus, he's got Alvin Kamara in the backfield to get some easy points on receptions. Kyler Murray, he is coming back from the torn ACL. I think he'll be back as early as week 4. Let's even say it's week 6. That defense is going to be atrocious. They're going to be throwing the ball a ton. I think this could be the most volume Kyler Murray's ever had. C.J. Stroud, drafted to Houston, the number 2 overall pick this year. His offensive coordinator comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree of coaching. That's a system that has made Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy and so many others relevant at quarterback. Brock Purdy was borderline top 10 in his starts last season, and now he has a full offseason to work with all of those weapons. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Love, look, he had a chance to sit down and learn behind a great Packers quarterback. That's worked out in Green Bay really well in the past. He's looked good from all reports so far in training camp. Today, actually, when I'm recording this, Matt LaFleur just said that Jordan Love has complete control over the offense. We don't really know what Jordan Love is, and that could mean that he's just really good. Mac Jones finally has a real offensive coordinator. No weird split between Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, a defensive coach and a special teams coach. Also, Juju Smith-Schuster is the best wide receiver he's ever gotten to work with. Jimmy Garoppolo now in Vegas reuniting with Josh McDaniels. And, oh, by the way, that offense has Devontae Adams. Trey Lance, hey, if he plays, he still has all that potential that we've been talking about for 3 years. And being in a Kyle Shanahan offense with a rushing upside, that could just be amazing. Sam Howell showed some real rushing upside in his college days. He ran for 828 yards in his final season at UNC. And then in his one game last year, he ran for 35 yards and a touchdown. Desmond Ridder was competent enough in 4 games to get the job for this season. And now he's going to step into an opportunity where he gets Kyle Pitts back from injury. He didn't have Pitts during those games last year. And Bijan Robinson in the backfield that can help take a load off of Ridder and also provides him a third option to throw to. Ryan Tannehill was QB 12 and QB 8 in 2021 and 2022. And that was with A.J. Brown and not much else. Now he has DeAndre Hopkins and a healthy Treylon Burks. Baker Mayfield now joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers threw the ball so much last year. They led the league by 40 pass attempts. If you shave 100 pass attempts off their total from last year, they would still be tied for 5th in the NFL. And if Geno Smith can have a big year with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, why can't Baker have a big year with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? So, guys, that wraps it up. That is a reason why you should draft every single quarterback in the NFL for fantasy football this year. If you enjoyed this, if you disagree, if you were yelling at your phone during a lot of this, go check out that other episode right now where you should not be drafting every single quarterback in the NFL. It's the opposite mirror to what you just listened to right here.